Hi, hang on a second. Forgot to do something. Hang on. It's like you're sitting there and things are headed in one direction, and then you're looking for something and you're wondering why things are about to die. And then you remember that you forgot to plug things in. There you go. Okay. Long night last night. Hi, John here, you there. Thanks for dropping in. It is SDH AM. Morning, David. Okay. Here's the deal. Hour number one is crazy. And it has to do with everything that happened last night. And I'm saving high school until noon because of the Red Clay Soccer Report. We're going to catch up with Mike Pettit from Callaway at the end of the show and find out what's going on with the boys and girls sides at Callaway. Now, in the show itself, last night was crazy. Boys and girls action with LOA and Lake Oconee Academy and GMC Prep. First off, thanks to all four coaches for helping us out, and thanks to the staff at LOA. First time out there in Greensboro, and it was a chance to see two really good single-A programs in a non-region game, and they just went at each other twice, and it was really fun to watch, and it ended up with games going absolutely down to the wire. So the boys' match was the nightcap. And I apologize, it started a little early. And you had a 2-0 lead for GMC in the first half. Then Leo Inestrosa, who, if you haven't heard of him, probably because he's a single-A based soccer player, flying below the radar, one of the most entertaining players in the state. And I guess technically this is opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. And we want to start your day with the most important stories in the game. Right way to start your morning is blackpitchcoffee.com, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend, and made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied, notes of walnut, semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff, powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Okay. It is Inestrosa, Leo Inestrosa, single-A talent across the board. One of the most entertaining players in the state. Tyler Mayer teased as much when he's been on the show with us before. And it was Inestrosa and a couple of moments of magic that tied it at 2 in the second half. First half was all GMC on the board. Second half, it goes first 2 on the board to Lake Oconee Academy, tied at 2. Then GMC scores to make it 3-2. Then Inestrosa scores again to make it 3-3. They go to PKs. They go to the 9th frame. And that doesn't even begin to explain it, because you had LOA score in the first, GMC scored in the first 2 frames. LOA missed. Then LOA misses in the next, then GMC misses next 2 frames. LOA makes. We go to the 5th. They both convert, so they're 3 of 5. They go all the way to the 9th frame before you end up with a winner. Crazy, stupid, silly, unbelievable stuff last night in Greensboro, and we can't thank everybody there in Greensboro for being the great hosts that they were. It was really cool to be out there last night, and so then, we'll keep an eye on things there, and we'll let you know what's going on in single A, but that is just part of it, and it's going to be part of Red Clay. That's going to happen at noon today. And we're going to catch up with Mike Pettit, the boys and girls coach at Callaway. We'll have highlights from those matches from last night, and we'll let you know what else is going on. Big news today with our friends from Georgia Student Finance Authority. Very cool stuff there as well. We'll get into that here a little bit. We'll get into it more in Red Clay at noon. Next up for us in high school soccer, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente, Friday, Dalton and Cedartown. First time that we've ever been to Doc Ayers. It'll be great to see everybody out there. So That's Red Clay at noon, and that was your tease, and that's opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee, blackpitchcoffee.com. Starting your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied with notes of walnut, semi-sweet chocolate. Rich world-class finish, opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Okay, hour 2 is all Major League Soccer. Dylan Butler and Kacey D are going to join us in hour number 2. Hour number 1, to get us to hour number 2, is all the comps from yesterday. CONCACAF, which was CONCACAF-y. AFCON, which kind of went CONCACAF-y. We've got to walk through that just on a decision alone. Champions League, Open Cup, and we've even got USM&T names that have been put into the camps. So we've got that news going on. Enzo Fernandez is on the block, but not unless Bowley, Clear Lake, and Chelsea get like $9 gazillion. We'll go through all of that news, all the things here in hour number 1. So all past Wednesday, it's no real surprise. So once again, hour 2, all Major League Soccer. Hour 1, all the cups, all the CONCACAF-iness, all the crazy to get you ready for hour number 2. I think I've caught my breath a little bit. Morning, Ricky. Morning, Abby. Morning, David. FIFA's dropped the opening video for the World Cup matches. Okay, so I'm going to look at it off camera. I'm not going to get us in any kind of trouble. The new official intro has been unveiled. And so it's 28 seconds. We'll see it at the beginning of everything from Big FOX and all the other rights holders. And it's a spinning globe with a bunch of stadiums and a bunch of venues all around the planet, all 3 countries, fireworks, looking at Pele and all of the stars of the past, and okay. All right, so it exists. Well done. So thanks to Oscar Mario Bateta, and thanks to Ricky for flashing that out there this morning. So it does exist. So the Open does exist, and we will see that Open on multiple networks all like a 6-week period. It's going to open and close everything with the branding of the cup that the world is chasing after. So it does exist. It is out there. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to get in any trouble. So that is there, and it is out there in humanity. Okay, so if we were to start with a piece of audio, courtesy of Korean television on a Wall Pass Wednesday, what would you think? That's what I thought you'd think. The game winner last night in CONCACAF between Alawalense and LAFC from Korean calls. We know why, because of Nonmin Son, but here's your game winner, the golazo, from Korean language television.
자, 점포, 수완갑, 세가도, 마르티네스 들어갑니다. 자, 마르티네스!
Bomb from David Martinez later than late last night. You end up with a 2-1 win for LAFC at a -189. Alawalense had them on the ropes. And LAFC has to come back with that goal at the death. And you end up with LAFC getting the Duke and advancing. So first leg 1-1, aggregate 3-2 in through 2 legs. LAFC moves on. Then Cruz Azul and Monterrey was a late night because the rest of the planet still hasn't sprung forward yet. It was an 11 o'clock start. And so late last night, Cruz Azul and Monterrey had a staring contest, 1-1 final, 4-3 in the aggregate. Cruz Azul moves on. And so we now know those two. By the way, the 90-minute draw was a +320. Tonight, to give you an idea, starting off at 7 o'clock, it's 7, 9, and 2 at 11, because of course it is. So goalless in the first leg in Nashville at Geodis. They go down to Fort Lauderdale. Messi and friends in Nashville Messi and friends are a minus 149. Draws a plus 333. Nashville SC is a plus 350. And this is the match, not the legs. Club America and Philadelphia Union is at 9 o'clock. Club America did what they need to get done just on a basic level. Got the one goal, got out of Dodge. Favored at a minus 189. Draw once again a plus 333. And I think the juice boxers are getting kind of lazy because you're seeing kind of some of the same numbers, at least to start a week, like plus 154. That pops up and it's always there. So you're seeing kind of the same numbers, at least early on in the discussion. They do change a little bit, but you're getting a little repetitious here, boys. Got to kind of work out your composites a little better. Draws a plus 333, and the Union are a plus 475 because, well, frankly, they're not scoring goals. Two matches at 11 o'clock. Toluca down a goal, 3-2 to San Diego FC. Toluca favored to win the leg at a minus 312. Draws a plus 525, and San Diego FC to win at the Estadio Nemesio Diaz is a plus 850. And then you have a Seattle hosting Vancouver, and this one is in Tacoma. It's in Spokane. Sorry, it's in Spokane, and Seattle is a 3-0 lead going into the second leg. Vancouver's got some work to do. Seattle favored to win this one, and obviously the two legs. Seattle right now at a plus 154, draws a plus 229, and Vancouver is a plus 175. So looking at those matchups and the winners, yeah, I know, and Ricky, yeah, that's the thing, is like if they were that invested, if the Korean broadcast crew was that invested on a David Martinez strike, you wonder what it would be like with Yeonmin Son. But they advance, and so now, right now, what you're looking at is the beginnings of Toluca and San Diego FC. Winner of that one gets the winner of Mount Pleasant and LAG. Looking like it's LAG. What do we say about LAG's bracket? SoCali Classico coming up around the corner if San Diego can hang on. And that's the upper left section of the bracket to get to the round of 8. Cruz Azul and Monterrey with the winner there. And so now you know that it's going to be Cruz Azul and LAFC low left. That's going to be the next round out of that bracket. Winner of Seattle and Vancouver gets the winner of Tigres and FC Cincinnati. That one is tomorrow. That's the last one in the barn. And Cincinnati, finding wins and goals that they're not finding in Major League Soccer, have a 3-0 advantage heading to Tigres. Tigres, obviously, right now favored minus 217. Can they hang on? That's the larger question. So Cincinnati leading, going to Tigres. Winner of Tigres and FC Cincinnati gets the winner of Seattle and Vancouver, low right. Then it is winner of Messi and friends in Nashville gets the winner of Club America and Philly. That's upper right. So you could have, if things work their way forward, Messi and friends taking on Club America upper right to get to the Final Four and get into the semis of the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. You could have, if Cincinnati hangs on, a matchup, say, with Seattle, low right. Then, once again, you've got LAFC, who made their way through, taking on another Liga MX Mexican Grande. So that will be intriguing on its own. And then, once again, we're waiting for the one in the upper left. But we've talked about LAG's bracket the entire time. Visa issues have also contributed to it. But I give Mount Pleasant a boatload of credit for hanging on as long as they have in this tie. So we tip our hat to you collectively, Mount Pleasant, for what you've been able to do so far. And I know that things got out of hand late. So, once again, we tip our hat to you, Mount Pleasant, for what you've been able to do and getting into this situation. But once again, first leg, LAG, 3-0 on Mount Pleasant. And, that was a great start for Mount Pleasant for about 50 minutes. And then it just kind of fell off the edge. And anyway, that's where we are in CONCACAF. So we go from CONCACAF to the magic of the Open Cup. Now, like I said, we're flying through all the comps because there's stuff to get into from a bunch of different things. We still got to get in news, and we got to get ready for Major League Soccer coming up in hour number 2. Go over everything in the week that was not Atlanta United, and then KCD's coming in at 10:30 because she was in the air yesterday. We'll talk about the match that she had. She had Houston. She had the Houston craziness. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into Monty Bogusch, get into decisions and PKs and all the things with her at 10:30 and go through that. Then we'll get ready because she's heading back to St. Louis again this weekend with Christian Miles. We got to figure out the day when she's going to wake up Christian Miles, though. We'll get into that also. KCD's joining us at 10:30. Dylan Butler joining us at 10 to talk about the rest of everything, plus probably some CONCACAF. Now, in the Open Cup yesterday, we always thrive and strive for the chaos of the Open Cup. We want the cup sets. We want all the crazy. And we kind of got it yesterday, at least early on. So I'm guessing that if today was what or yesterday was, today might be the crazy. Here was the crazy from yesterday, courtesy of our friends at the U.S. Open Cup and our friends at CBS Golasso Network.
And a whistle. Vermont Green usurps Portland Hearts of Pine for Northeastern bragging rights in the U.S. Open Cup, advancing to the second round on the back of David Ismail's 40th minute goal. 1-0 the final for the Green.
Deserving Vermont Green to advance into the next round. Coming into this game, one full squad of training. Did not know what it was going to look like on the ball. They were bold, they were courageous, and off the ball, they rolled their sleeves up and they dug deep. They grinded out that goal, they grinded out this result, and they survive and advance in this historic tournament.
They do exactly that. Vermont Green, we talked about it with Kaylor Hodges yesterday from the USL show. If you were napping on Vermont Green, that was a mistake. That's kind of why we had it in Picks of the Week for soccer over there. And I had 90-minute draw, but Vermont Green won outright. Win for Vermont Green at a USL League 2, and they were the champs last season, beating Ballard in the final. So they're the ones that get the crazy at a plus 185. They were a decided underdog. Portland Hearts of Pine at a USL League 1 was a plus 110. The one goal made the difference. And so Vermont Green advances. The other's not really surprising. Richmond over Northern Virginia. Rhode Island took care of a CD Firenze at a minus 5,000. Loudoun United went to Westchester United, got the win on the road. Detroit City, after a slow start, 5-1 over Michigan Rangers. Indy 11 in an indoor facility took on Des Moines Menace, a rather plain Des Moines Menace squad. Indoors because it was, I think it was like 19 degrees or something. So they played it indoors. Outdoors, I think it was 32 with a wind chill of 19. You look at Greg Rakestraw, our friend from Indy 11, the play-by-play voice of a lot of Indiana soccer. Greg was calling the match indoors, as were Watson Kerr. 3-0 Indy 11 over Des Moines Menace. Colorado Springs over Azteca 3-0. And the League of Clubs, 3-iron, 4-iron, 5-iron Azteca gets shut out. And then Phoenix Rising at 34th and Washington last night beat San Ramon. Final there was 4-0. So we only had really the one shock of shocks, if you want to call Vermont Green shock of shocks. Today, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 matches. And this is, and David, I'll answer your question in a second. I'll get through the matchups for today. And we'll get into the reason why Spokane in a second for Seattle and the Triple C. Starts at 6. Warm up early. Chattanooga FC and our friends from Kalanji Pro Profile from the UPSL. Chattanooga favored at a minus 167. Kalanji's a plus 290. Charleston taking on the Florida Badgers. Charleston Battery and Florida Badgers. This is the part of the year where you're sitting there and you're going, who in the blankety blank are the Florida Badgers? They made their way in. They're a UPSL club out of Boynton Beach, Florida. And so the Florida Badgers out of the Florida South, and by the way, their logo is pretty sweet, under Jerome Joseph, they are taking on, they're in the same region in the UPSL as the Florida Soccer Soldiers. But the Florida Badgers have made it in out of the UPSL, and they're going to Charleston to take on the Battery tonight. Obviously, a decided underdog at a plus 1,500. Asheville City and Greenville. This is one to keep an eye on also at 6:30. Asheville City, once again, we know them from the NPSL. Scott Wells, we know their squad. Scott has now gone from Gardner Webb to Liberty to be the head coach. Greenville Triumph at a plus 100, traveling to Asheville and Greenwood Field on the campus of North Carolina, Asheville. Circle that one. So literally you're going to have things fired up early on because you'll have Chattanooga Kalanji Pro Profile at 6. Charleston, Florida Badgers. How long will the Badgers be engaged before Charleston, who's a minus 1,000, puts the pedal down and sprints off into the sunset? Asheville City and Greenville. First off, NPSL versus League One. Second, area rivalry. Supremacy in the whole thing. Like Vermont Green and P-Hop last night. So that's at 6:30. 7 o'clock, FC Motown, who is a perpetual troublemaker in Open Cup. They are hosting Hartford Athletic at a minus 196. Motown's a plus 359. Lou City and Southern Indiana. Lou City, big favorite. We got news that we didn't talk about yesterday involving Lou City. FC Naples and Red Force. FC Naples obviously favored at a minus 769. Little Rock and FC Tulsa. This one should be fun. Little Rock hosting, and they're a dog at a plus 380. FC Tulsa's a minus 213. BOHFS St. Louis against Union Omaha. And what in the wide world of sports is a BOFHS St. Louis? Let's find out together. Semi-pro soccer club playing in the Midwest Premier League. And believe it or not, their hashtag is up the BOHFS. I can't think of an acronym off the top of my head. Sponsor on the front of the jersey is the Urban Chestnut Brewing Company. And our friends at CA are the ones that make their jerseys. The same ones that do the Tongan national team jerseys, the outfit based in Utah that we had the discussion with about the head of the company being on the bench during qualifiers in the Oceania region. That outfitter. They outfit BOHFS. And you can actually get some shopping done. So BOHFS, and I'd love to know what the acronym stands for. Okay, so about. BOHFS St. Louis. That's all they refer to themselves as. Come on, y'all. There's got to be a name that's attached to the whole thing. Scarves are pretty sweet. Don't get me wrong. Epic Insurance Brokerage is a new partner with them, by the way. BOHFS. Literally, all I'm seeing is BOHFS and that they're a semi-pro team. I don't know what the acronym is. They outlasted Chicago House, by the way, in their first qualifier. So BOHFS. They started out as a pick, and this is from our friends at Protagonist. Started out just as a pickup soccer team by a group of friends, players, and coaches. The badge, if you look at it, it's kind of Ajax-y. The fez is a nod to the club's Bosnian heritage. Okay, so now we're getting someplace. So it's Bosnian roots, introduced to the Balkans by the Ottoman Empire, and even today, symbol of identity, dignity, resilience, and tradition. So they're of a Bosnian heritage. Bosnian Heritage Football Club. And we know St. Louis, home to many cultures, and it was a way for the logo to acknowledge the Bosnian roots. Playing the Midwest Premier League. And how do you keep the lights on? Bit of everything, sponsors, merch, fundraisers, hard work. Every bit of support helps keep them going forward. Highs and lows last year, second in the division. And you can follow BOHFS on Insta. Up the BOHFS. So Bosnian Heritage Club playing in the Midwest Premier League. And they are taking on, man. So BOHFS is hosting Union Omaha. So where is this match going to be? Where is this match? Because you've got to have a certain capacity, and that's why I'm kind of delaying a little bit discussing Seattle and CONCACAF. Same reason, but we'll get into that in a second. So BOHFS, they're playing at Lindenwood. Okay, so 8 o'clock, BOHFS St. Louis and Union Omaha playing at Lindenwood in St. Charles, Missouri. So you have a team that likes to display their Bosnian heritage in the Midwest Premier League at BOHFS, taking on Union Omaha. That's at 8 o'clock. Obviously, a Midwest semi-pro team, Midwest Premier League semi-pro team. They're only a plus 400. They're not that big of a dog. We've seen a lot of larger dogs so far in the opening round, but Union Omaha is a minus 204. San Antonio and New Stars. Obviously, San Antonio is a big favorite. New Mexico and Cruisers, Cruizers. New Mexico United's a minus 909 against Cruisers FC, and they're playing this one in Albuquerque at the University of New Mexico Soccer Stadium. That one is at 9 o'clock, 9:30. Sacramento Republic and our friends from El Farolito. That one is at 10 o'clock. Sacramento, beware. Sacramento's a minus 500. El Farolito is in plus 850. Your draw's a plus 525. Why do we say beware? Because I'm stepping away from my desk and I'm flashing the banner from our friends at El Farolito right there. We have El Farolito banners here in the office. And I've got to make sure that stays plugged in, or I've got to get a new cable or a new headset, one of the two. That didn't sound good. But anyway, El Farolito, they are, Lindenwood University. Thank you, David. You're faster on the draw than I am. Okay, so that one is out there. Ventura and Spokane Velocity. Spokane's only a minus 154 favorite going up against Ventura tonight. And it's Ventura County Fusion and Spokane Velocity at Ventura College. Once again, that's at 10:30. You have AV Alta and Valley 559 playing at Lancaster Municipal Stadium in Lancaster. Orange County SC taking on Laguna United at 10:30 at the Championship Soccer Stadium in Irvine. So, going back to our original question that was posed, why in the wide world of sports is CONCACAF playing in Spokane at One Spokane? Because they're finally getting the grass pulled out or put in and the turf pulled out at Lumen. One of the reasons. And so they're kind of prepping Lumen for the World Cup, and part of that's pulling the turf out, putting grass in. And so they're in the process of putting the grass in. So you'll see stuff at Starfire, you'll see stuff at Spokane, all of that. So once again, it's 11 o'clock start on FS2 and 2 for CONCACAF. But then tonight, all of the matches tonight, all 14 of them are going to be available one way or the other. FC Motown Hartford Athletic from NJIT, and NJIT has been proved to be a traditionally troublesome stadium for folks that wander in. That one's on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Network. BOHFS St. Louis and Union Omaha is on Golasso at 8 o'clock. And then you still have Open Cup tomorrow. So you have the one on Golasso at 8, the one on CBS Sports Network at 7. Everything else is available on YouTube. So those are the Open Cup matchups. AV Alta favored at home. Orange County SC favored big at home. Ventura County Fusion, slight underdog. Well, I mean, slight in the comparison sense. Plus 275. Spokane Velocity on the road is a minus 154. Beware El Farolito, people. I will not tarnish El Farolito talk. We will not tarnish them. Sacramento, be warned. El Farolito is here. Of course, now that I say that, it might be into like being a 3-0 or a 4-0 or something like that. So that's Open Cup tonight. Starts at 6, goes all night. Make sure that you've got your clicker handy. There's going to be some fun ones, especially early, to get you ready for Open Cup. Now, Champions League yesterday. You had one of the more history-making events happen in Champions League. And if you're a fan of Bodo Glimt, I would probably cover my ears for the next couple of minutes. Bodo Glimt had a 3-0 lead going in. They did not advance to the next round. Sporting, after getting a PK with about 13 to go, converted the PK, tied things at 3, went to extra time, and then Sporting scored 2 in extra time to win 5-3 in the second leg, and a 3-0 in the 5-0 in the second leg, 5-3 aggregate. So Sporting comes back from 3-0 down, scores 5 yesterday. They advance 5-3. They're taking on Arsenal in the next round. Real Madrid took care of business, BID apostrophe NESS. 2-1 over Manchester City, and that one ended up 5-1 in the aggregate. Manchester City goes home. PSG thumped Chelsea 3-0. 8-2 in the aggregate. The only shining example for the Premier League came from Arsenal, who won 2-0 at home against Bayer Leverkusen. They advanced, winning 3-1 in the 2 legs. Chelsea out. Manchester City out. Cinderella gone. Bodo Glimt. So Arsenal moves on. PSG moves on. Real Madrid moves on. Sporting moves on. We'll probably talk more about it with our buddy Nino Torres tomorrow. Today, Bayern Munich favored at a -256 after winning 6-1 in the first leg. Atalanta's a +600. Bayern Munich gets to 45 minutes in decent shape. I would anticipate firewagon changes at the break. Liverpool has some work to do. They're down 1-0 at home to Galatasaray. They're a -385 to win. Galatasaray's a +900 to win the leg, +600 on the draw. These three are the third match at 4 o'clock is Spurs and Atletico de Madrid. First leg result, Antonin Kinski, the 17-minute disaster by Igor Tudor, then pulled for Vicario, which sent the locker room further away. 5-2 in the first leg. Second leg at the billion-dollar stadium that still didn't have a sponsor. Spurs are a +135 to win the leg. +280 on the draw, and Atletico de Madrid +179 to win the leg. 3-goal advantage going in. Barcelona and Newcastle at the Camp Nou. 1-1 on a late penalty. Newcastle had the lead, late penalty call. 1-1 after the first leg, heading to the Camp Nou, and it's Barcelona -175 to win. Newcastle +420. Nice, and your 90-minute draws a +380. So you've got that going on in Champions League today. So all the comps are going today. All of the comps, they're all going. This is a day literally where you better make sure that you have everything, that all your batteries are good to go, that you know that your remote can work, all the things. All of the things are going on today, and it starts in the afternoon. Watford, by the way, beat Wrexham 3-1. And they are still now in the 6th spot, meaning Wrexham, but they're only 3 points clear of not being in the promotion playoff at the 6. So you have that to think about as well today. There's a lot going on. Like, seriously, it starts like when we sign off after red clay at 1 o'clock. Then you got to get ready for Champions League. Then when Champions League is over, then you're going into Open Cup. When Open Cup is going on, you've got CONCACAF going on. You've got the 14 Open Cup matches and the 4 CONCACAF matches going on at the same time. So Champions League just kind of whets your palate today. Whets your palate to get into Open Cup and getting into CONCACAF and moving forward and all this kind of stuff. So that's what you've got going into today when it comes to all of your cup stuff. Literally, that's your cup stuff. And then we go to AFCON. But Lean Paint Idio blah, 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 wants to send us to Stream Boo, and that's not going to happen. So we always try to sit there and make instantaneous work of the bots when we see them, especially when we're in the home studio. So it is a bot. It is a bot, and it is a viewer participation bot or a viewer solicitation bot. If I could spell solicitation without inserting things into it. I have the fattest fingers on the planet. Okay, viewer solicitation bot. Report submitted. And Lean Paint, whatever the rest of your handle is, you're in trouble. Ricky with the breaking news out of Foxborough. The select board in Foxborough grants the license for the 7 FIFA World Cup games to be held at Gillette. So the financing is okie dokie with the city of Foxborough. Board's granting the license to the events. So Foxborough is in. $8 million figured out. Now, AFCON yesterday. Morocco, and this is from Ed, we'll use Ed Aarons at The Guardian. We'll use his version. Morocco has been declared winners 3-0 after the appeal is upheld. Senegal players walked off the pitch late. So let's recap this whole thing. So Morocco has now been awarded a 3-0 win in the AFCON final. Senegal has been stripped of the title. AFCON announced that the appeal board had decided that Senegal are, quote, declared to have forfeited the final back in January after their head coach, Pape Thiaw, and some of the players left the pitch for 15 minutes in protest after Morocco had been awarded a penalty. They eventually return. Sadio Mane, you remember Sadio Mane didn't leave the pitch with the group. He implored his teammates to come back. Brahim Diaz, subsequent spot kicking saved. Final goes into extra time. Papa Gay scored the winning goal. And so with all of that chaos that got you into 90 minutes, literally that got you into 90 minutes. That wasn't just like, that wasn't just something that happened and you're going, yeah, maybe. But no, it legitimately happened. And so you have that event go down, but it gets better. At an initial disciplinary hearing, CAF imposed fines of more than $1 million and bans for Senegal and Morocco players and officials, but left the result untouched. In a statement, CAF confirmed Senegal had been stripped of the title. Maybe you lost sound? I hope not. That'd be bad. I'm jamming things in here because I know that my headset's kind of goofy this morning. I hope not. Hang on. Let me. What is this with me and buttons? Legitimately. Hang on just a second. Now you're freaking me out. All right. Hang on. So don't freak me out, David. Okay. No, I've got sound. Okay. So I was just playing sound just a second ago. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Coco. Good morning. All right. So continuing. In a statement, CAF confirms Senegal had been stripped of the title. The CAF appeal board decided that in application of Article 84 of the regulations of the Africa Cup of Nations, the Senegal national team is declared to have forfeited the final match of the African Cup of Nations, Morocco 2025, with the result of the match being recorded as a 3-0 in favor of the Fédération Royale Marocaine de Football. It is declared that the Fédération Sénégalaise de Football, through the conduct of its team, infringed Article 82 of the regulations of the Africa Cup of Nations. Senegal has already appealed, by the way. That's from our buddy Ben Jacobs this morning. So Ben Jacobs, official on his 280-character app, Senegal had confirmed that they will appeal to CAS. So next up goes to CAS on the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So Senegal confirmed before we came on the air this morning that they were appealing to CAS. Moussa Niakate, who played in the final, appeared to hit out at CAF's decision. Come and get them. The Lyon defender wrote on his Instagram account with a picture of him holding the AFCON trophy. They are crazy. Moroccan Federation said in a statement, the Federation wishes to recall that its approach has never been intended to challenge the sporting performance of the teams participating in this competition, but solely to request the application of the competition's regulations. Federation reaffirms its commitment to respecting the rules, ensuring clarity in the competitive framework, and maintaining stability within the African competitions. So, CAF awards the championship to Morocco now, pulling it away from Senegal. Patrice Motsepe, the president of CAF, has been accused of allowing Morocco to dictate its law. Senegal said they would appeal, obviously. Senegalese government called for an independent investigation into what it described as suspected corruption within CAF. Augustin Senghor, FSF president and member of CAF's executive committee, expects the court to overturn what he described as the dangerous precedent, in quotes. If this isn't Wall Pass Wednesday, I don't know what it is. To award Morocco a 3-0 win in the final. FSF is understood to be confident on the grounds that Article 5.2 in IFAB's laws of the game states that the decisions of the referee are final regarding the result of the match. Tuesday's decision to hand victory to Morocco after some of the Senegalese players left the pitch for 15 minutes was made by CAF's appeal board. Guardian with Aarons et al. Revealed that Senghor, the chair of CAF's Legal Affairs Department, sent a text to Motsepe on Tuesday just before the decision was made in public, alleging the ruling had been taken during, quote, a secret meeting in Cairo. Senegalese government makes a statement. CAF contacted for comment. At an initial disciplinary hearing, CAF imposed the fines of $1 million in bans for players. Pape Chow, once again, players leaving the pitch. Mane and several of his Senegal teammates criticized the decision, with the former Liverpool forward writing on Instagram, "What happened has gone too far. This is not the football we fight for, not the Africa we believe in. Too much corruption in our game, killing the passion of the millions of fans across the continent. It is understood, according to Aarons et al., several members of CAF's executive committee are considering not attending the next meeting, scheduled for the end of the month, in protest in Motsepe's leadership. Quote, he is no longer able to run CAF, according to one insider." So what you have here is a board that decides, basically, I'm kind of like, we're good here. You just decide to change a result, forfeiting the match under Articles 82 and 84. So what you've done, basically, is take a tournament, and instead of having it be remembered for everything on the field, you've put a gigantic asterisk on it. CAF had already fined the ever-loving daylights out of folks, suspended players on both teams, and now you're basically taking the result and saying, we're changing our minds here. Senegal goes off the field once again, walking off the field for a call. You don't do that. You just don't. And so Senegal walking off the field once again, that sets a precedent. You don't want that kind of precedent set in a tournament. You don't want that kind of precedent set, period. The PK was a judgment call. And yes, the officiating was all over the place. I get that. But just because something happens late that you can make the call for, and we talked about this with Bart, I think, at the time, you can make that call, cool, you made the call. But that does not justify Senegal walking off the field. Senegal got the hammer dropped on them with fines and suspensions. The fact that now CAF wants to relitigate the whole thing and pull the title away 2 months later, that will be what this tournament is remembered for more than anything else. You want an asterisk, you want CAS. That's where we're going with this story instead of what happened in this tournament. You should be talking about the tournament here. Instead, we're spending time on a morning show discussing things that have nothing to do with what's going on the field. And so now what you've done is you've put this into a legal fight. And if Morocco is cool with an asterisk and everybody walking up to them from now on, if it sticks this way, because once again, it goes to CAS, and then whatever CAS's decision is, I'm sure that they'll probably find a way to try and appeal it to another venue, whatever that venue is. But what you have done is you have put a gigantic asterisk over a title. No, you shouldn't have left the pitch for 15 minutes because of a call on the field. But no, AFCON and CAF should not have 6 weeks, 8 weeks later decided, you know what? We've been thinking about it, and we're reversing the end result. We're handing over the trophy to the other team because you walked off the field. We always talk about VAR overreach. You have a governing body that has decided that fines and suspensions weren't enough, and for whatever reason and whatever influence and whatever conversations have been had, you now want to sit there and go, you know what, we're just going to reverse the decision. What happened on the field is now irrelevant. Players walking off the field, however inexcusable, we're going to reverse the decision. And so from now on, this tournament, regardless of the end result of all of the legal wrangling and everything that goes on from here, everything that goes on down the line, what are we going to remember this AFCON for? We're going to remember it for everything that happened 2 months later and beyond. We're going to remember it for everything over here and not for what happened on the pitch. We're going to remember it for courtroom wrangling. We're going to remember it for executive committees arguing when it comes to organizational bodies, governing bodies, courtrooms. That's what we're going to remember this AFCON by. It's a fantastic tournament. It's got some great storylines working their way through. Morocco and Senegal now coming forward. And now you've decided 2 months later to flip the switch and just sit there and go, nope, tell you what, we're going the other way. You made your point early with the fines and suspensions. Like I said, for whatever reason, you've decided to swap the title away. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the off-camera discussions were. I don't know what the off-camera influences were. But AFCON CAF had made their point about AFCON with the fines and suspensions. Now, 2 months after the tournament's over, you're flipping the result. That's what we are remembering this for going forward. I don't think we're done. You're going to CAS, great. Okay, cool. CAS says one thing, you disagree with it, where do you go next? Intergalactic Court? I don't know. But the whole legal gambit has now been started, and it won't be stopped until you end up with a country in Senegal going through every recourse they possibly can, short of come and get it, that they can find. And Abby, I know that we were talking about what rules 82 and 84. Walking off during chaos. Senegal forfeits the match under 82 and 84. But to retroactively 2 months later sit there and think about if you wanted to do something like this, go into immediate executive session and do it like the next day. Like, okay, all of this is off the charts. Go into secret special executive session after the match is over. Like, go into a hotel conference room in Rabat, Morocco, and have all of the cameras outside the hotel and Dr. Motsepe and everybody else wandering into this hotel lobby. You go into a conference room, decide it then. Don't wait 2 months. If you wanted to go down the line and say they violated Articles 82 and 84, whereas Senegal has come back and said that the decisions of the referee are final, I think 5.2, I forget where it was when we were going over copy. Senegal, hang on. Dictate law. Article 5.2, IFAB laws of the game states that the decisions of the referee are final regarding the result of a match. So Article 5.2 versus Articles 82 and 84. Basically, this is the decision-making that you're getting into. And, I mean, that's the thing, And Coco's like, if the rule was that important to be abided by, CAF should have dealt with it during the 15-minute break. You got all this chaos going on the field. Coco makes a point. Deal with 82 and 84, and then deal with Articles 82 and 84 then. If you're that mad about it, like I said, if the match ends and CAF is that mad about it at the time, then do the walk with the cameras. Do the walk into the and the refs. I don't think the refs are going to be anywhere close to doing anything in CAF that important ever again. We'll keep an eye on those names, though. But if you were that hot, if CAF was that mad about violations of Articles 82 and 84, everybody stream to the CAF hotel after the match is over, call a press conference, say, hey, we're going to this hotel, like after the match is over, and you have the dais with all the sponsors and everything. If you're that hot about it, go to the post-game press conference room. Dr. Motsepe walks in, sits down. We have issues. We're going back to the CAF hotel. The executive committee is going into executive session. We're going to discuss it there. We apologize for what happened. We're going to discuss it then and there. That should have been done that night. Maybe the next morning. Bring in coffee and pizza. I don't care. If you're that hot about it, do it then. Don't wait 2 months. It took you 2 months to sit there and figure out, okay, we got issues. We got an issue here. They violated 82 and 84. Whereas Senegal comes back with 5.2. 3 IFAB rules are in play here. And so it's Articles 82 and 84 versus Article 5.2. All right, now, laws of the game. Single pages. I just want to see it. I don't want to download it. Fine. I'll download it. Whatever. Okay, so laws of the game. We are in IFAB's laws of the game. I never thought I would do this. Double pages. Blah, blah, blah. Laws of the game, 5.2. Law 1. Talks about everything that's going on the field, your specs. Okay. So 5.2, decisions of the referee. Decisions will be made to the best of the referee's ability according to the laws of the game and the spirit of the game, and will be based on the opinion of the referee, who has the discretion to take appropriate action within the framework of the laws of the game. The decisions of the referee regarding facts connected with play, including whether or not a goal is scored and the result of the match, are final. Decisions of the referee and all other match officials must always be respected. The referee may not change a restart decision on realizing it's incorrect or on the advice of another match official. If play is restarted or the referee has signaled the end of the first or second half, including extra time, and let the field of play or abandon the match. Okay. The referee may not change a restart decision on realizing it's incorrect on the advice of another match official if play is restarted or the referee has signaled the end of the first or second half, including extra time, and let the field play abandon the match. That's 5.2. We'll get into 82 and 84 in a bit. Dylan's here. We got to talk Major League Soccer. Might be a little while. Abby, good to see you. Okay. Dylan's here. We're talking Major League Soccer. Dylan, we were getting lost on the laws of the game because of all the chaos that's going on with CAF and AFCON and changing decisions and lawsuits and the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And so, yes, if this wasn't a Wall Pass Wednesday, I don't know what is.
Good morning to you.
Mm-hmm. Literally, we spent hour number one going over all the results from last night.
Yes.
And we looked at LAFC at the death, knocking off Alawalense, which was nuts. And we played the Korean call, which was very cool.
Oh, nice.
We found that one. And so we talked CONCACAF. We set up the magic of the Open Cup with what happened with Vermont Green last night. And their home game, the USL League Two champions, they have the belt to prove it, I guess, and knocking off Portland Hearts of Pine and their fantastic Lighthouse jerseys. And so we set up the magic of the Open Cup. We talked about CONCACAF. We talked about Champions League. And then we got into AFCON. And everything came to a screeching halt because CAF decides that they're going to, 2 months after the fact, we're going to reverse a decision. It's a 3-0 forfeit. Players left the field for 15 minutes. And that's a boo-boo. And so now 2 months after the AFCON final, the championship, which was in Morocco, is now heading to Morocco. So you want to talk asterisks with like Bonds and Maguire and Sosa? You got that kind of an asterisk now dealing with AFCON, Morocco, and Senegal with the CAF final that we had 2 months ago. And that's literally, it was laws of the game that we were looking at because they were saying that they'd violated 2 in the 80s. Senegal's like, well, we're looking at 5.2. And so I was reading 5.2 as you came in this morning. And so that's where we've bookmarked CAF and AFCON and chaos and changing of titles and appeals to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Good morning.
I mean, it all does sound like some 1980s wrestling kind of storyline.
It did. Yeah, it did. It's like
it was a pin. No, but it wasn't. Like, we looked back.
Okay, here it is. I've maintained that Maven won the Royal Rumble the year it was in Atlanta because he was never tossed over the top rope.
See?
He eliminated Undertaker, but Undertaker dragged him out from underneath the top rope, took him up to the club level, sent him into a popcorn machine. Maven was never eliminated.
So now, all these years later, we've got to go back and revisit that.
We have to replay the Royal Rumble from that moment of Undertaker dragging Maven from out of the ring and start it from there. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
I don't know where that falls into IFAB's laws of the game, but that was the first
6.3. I think it might be
that literally was the first thing that popped into my head. It wasn't quite, you had the double elimination where feet hit the floor in the Rumble at the same time, those kinds of things. But, but like leaving the ring and not coming back, that to me was what Maven and the Royal Rumble popped into my head. Anyway, were you on the desk for CONCACAF yesterday?
I was not, but I am tonight.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Big night. Lots of
big
drama.
Big night. Big night.
Late night.
Big
and
night.
a big night.
So when you look at, and so we'll start there since you're on the desk, and we kind of blew through the games that are happening tonight to determine who might be advancing and going forward. But you've got Messi and Friends is the early. Nashville and their social media were quite happy. It's like Nashville holds Inter Miami scoreless after last time out, and so I don't quite necessarily think that's going to happen with Messi and Friends down in Fort Lauderdale.
I don't think it'll happen with either team. I think we'll have goals.
Oh yeah, okay. And you figure that the pink team is probably going to have it done at a -149 before the night's over.
I think they will. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, there's great. Like I being in this business of ours, I root for storylines, and I think there's great storylines in either case, right? It's Miami, who is chasing this trophy, the only trophy that has eluded them so far. And then you've got Nashville, who are just so tired of losing to Miami. So something's got to give here tonight, and
something's got to give tonight at the Nassau Coliseum,
at the War Memorial, and then you have the winner taking on Club America, right? Likely. So like what I'll tell you this. I mean, like we saw it last night with LAFC. Like these quarterfinals now are like really getting kind of spicy, right? Like a little taco grande extra sauce spicy.
Yeah, and I leave those for the boss. I like the mild sauce. I like mild. I like stories, but I like mild sauce.
Yeah, I'll go for wings. The most I'll go is medium.
Yeah, I can't
on my heat index. I don't go to the crazy spice levels.
No, I can't do that. And if I ever did the show where it was like you're eating the spicy wings that get gradually worse, and you're trying to, I'd be like, I'm out. It's like I take the first bite of the first one. I'm like, yep, I'm out. That's a quick.
Hey, listen, you guys could adopt what we do here at Varsity Media. Sometimes we do food reviews at halftime of games, and you can pull out one of those wing deals there.
I'm a pizza guy, though. Give me good pizza. Give me a good, give me good stromboli, maybe.
There we
go. Give me a good tiramisu. Usually for me, desserts, one of my cornerstones. If you can make a good tiramisu, then you're in business with me. I mean, because I can start with dessert, but tiramisu is one of my tent poles.
So after the Catholic basketball championships at Fordham, the whole crew, after a long, that was the bow on our basketball season. So, the whole crew, we went out, boss man paid for it, which was even better.
There you go.
And we went to a fantastic restaurant in the Bronx, Frankie and Johnny's Pine Restaurant.
Okay.
It's right there on Boston Avenue in the Bronx. Terrific meal. What's crazy is, I'm not a regular there, but it was like the third time in the last 2 years, I think, that we've gone.
Yeah.
Same waiter.
Okay.
We remember him. He remembers us. He talks World Cup with me. He's Romanian. Like it's like he's got World Cup ticket. Like, so it's like we pick up right where we left off, which is a sign of a good waiter who can remember those kind of things with as busy of as a big of a place as that is. But I only bring it up because you mentioned the tiramisu. That was the dessert of choice for me that night. So
that's strong. Then you look at the other ones tonight: Seattle, Vancouver.
Yeah,
that one. Seattle's up 3. And I don't know how Vancouver is going to like Spokane, but we will certainly find out.
That one needs an early Vancouver goal to get that spice level going. Because look, if they can pull off anything, if they keep their scoring going from the weekends, after thrashing Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Now that gets interesting, right?
Interesting is also the other monitor at 11 o'clock, Toluca and San Diego FC.
Oh, yeah.
And Estadio Nemesio, I maintain that everybody should go see a match at Estadio Nemesio Diaz as one of your Liga MX venues, because it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous venue when they renovated it, and it's a fantastic venue in and of itself. And so I think this will be a great test for San Diego. Hey, are you ready for these kind of moments? And you're going to Toluca. You've got to lead in a game that was crazy in the first place, in your place at the Murph Dragon, and now you've got to maintain the crazy down at Toluca to advance through.
Yeah, and you've got to also, deal with missing players, right? Like, I think the Duo one hurts.
Yeah, Duo definitely. It do.
But yeah, they are on the verge of a historic result, right? I mean, they've already knocked off one Liga MX team, San Diego did, and now they are on the precipice of doing it again. But as we have painfully learned through this whole CONCACAF extravaganza that is Champions League, now Champions Cup, is it ain't over till it's over.
No.
So, more often than not, that becomes painfully evident when it's a road fixture in Mexico.
Yes, absolutely true. And so it'll be a late night, so get in your naps now. And we'll find out what it's going to look like with those four tonight. Tomorrow, Mount Pleasant and LAG. Mount Pleasant's got a bit of a mountain to climb at home, down 3. And Tigres and Cincinnati. Tigres, this was the one that I think that surprised me more than anything. Tigres losing in Cincinnati at TQ by 3. But once again, I think to your point, if we apply the first goal rule again, then Tigres gets the first. I think Cincinnati might get a little skittish, and then it will be game on tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Now, getting back to last week in Major League Soccer, so we can come forward, because that's what we have to do. We have to go forward. We have to come backwards so we can go forward.
Backwards and go forward, right?
Yes. So
like a parking spot.
Yes, it is. It literally is like parking. And for me, since I'm left-handed, I have no issue going this way. When it comes to parking and parking spaces, I don't have that issue that some other folks may. Toronto and Red Bulls 1-1 draw. Atlanta put 3 on Philly. I think that Philly is probably going. They're probably yellow light heading to red light, unless they're already at red light right now. Because of the lack of offense and issues at the back, because you don't have your 2 Sequoias anymore, and you've got to have the younger guys try to pick up. But you've been found out so far that you can be beaten, you can be passed through.
Kind of crazy that when you get rid of good players, you might not be as good.
There goes that damned logic again. And then especially scoring with you don't have Ty Barabo, and you're trying to figure it out from other places. They have invested more. This is one of their more expensive off seasons, but right now it hasn't come to the fore, and you're seeing the issues in Philly. Nashville goes to Columbus and wins. Charlotte did not put out the same messaging that Nashville did, holding Messi and friends scoreless. NYC put 3 on Colorado at Yankee Stadium, winning 3-1. Does this say more about NYC right now, or does it say more about Colorado?
I think we need to be talking about NYC more, right? I think they've kind of under the radar quietly been very, very good, right? Right now, top of the East, tied, I think. Well, I don't know if that late result changed it with Vancouver, but at one point during the weekend, they were tied for the most goals scored as well. I think that the numbers are 10 and 11. I think it's 10 points and 11 goals scored.
Okay.
Or 11 points and 10 goals scored, one or the other. But and they're doing it without Alonso Martinez, right? So that's really impressive, I think, to me, is the way that they've gotten going. And not that we're going forward right now, because we're still going backwards, but a quick kind of look ahead is what a fixture coming up this weekend, right? Against Miami, coming to town, coming to the Bronx. that is that I think we'll likely know more about how real NYCFC is after that one. But the early returns are very positive for them.
Okay. Purple team gets rid of Oscar Pareja, and we haven't had the chance to discuss that.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought when we spoke last week, and I think it happened not long after, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll take your word for it. My days are running together.
I thought this would have been the match. Like, had they not gotten a result against Montreal, I thought that was the one where maybe that seat is too hot, but management decided otherwise, and it was after their previous game. So listen, I think he deserves a ton of credit for kind of building up the culture of that team and becoming a perennial like I would go a little short of powerhouse.
Okay.
But an upper tier, like a top
pain in the neck.
Sure, there's that too.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's like anything else. I think all these things run in cycles, and I think he was in the beginning of his 7th season. That's hard to do in professional sports. So, whether it's I'm a Ranger fan. You go back, John Tortorella, right? Like he doesn't have long runs as a head coach, right? The special one, he doesn't have long runs with teams. So I think that's just sort of the reality of today's sporting world, and it also makes you then appreciate someone like a Brian Spetzer, who is forever, part of that Seattle team, and they continue to get results, right? And despite injuries, and they always seem to find a way.
And it's, you mentioned Torts. I was going to say, where else has he not? Where has he not coached in the National Hockey League? But you get that flash immediately, and then it's about navigating past year 2, year 3, like we talk about with the special one. It's all or Bielsa, somebody like that is
right.
this comet that comes across the sky, and it's like you understand that it's a short-term thing, and the longer you try to hang on to it, the closer you fly to the sun, and you end up with a Daedalus and an Icarus reference this morning as we get to looking at things. You look at DC United getting a win in Chicago, and then the further west you go, the more crazy it gets. Dallas and San Diego went forever. Houston played 105 minutes against Portland. Kacey White's coming up after you in about 15 minutes. Kansas City with a win. RSL continues to go. LAFC. Now, what the hell happened on Sunday? New England put 6 on Cincinnati. Vancouver put 6 on Minnesota. What in the blue hell happened there?
Yeah, a lot of goals, and I was on for all of those goals. From the very first one, which was actually against New England, until New England just went full throttle. And
what is this New England, and what have you done with New England, Marko Mitrovic?
I mean, is it a flash? Is it a comet through the sky, or is it maybe the start of something? Again, it's hard to tell. We'll find out going forward with them, but yeah, really, really impressive result from them. Like he said after, look, this is now a reference point for us. Like this is the template to how we want to play. So, can they replicate that over the course of a long MLS season? That remains to be seen. But, on the day, that was a really impressive performance.
It reminds me, we got to catch up with our buddy Dave Feldman and find out what's going on up there. What in the blue hell is going on with the Revs, Dave? Then you come up there this weekend. It's Toronto and Columbus. Josh Sargent, probably a cameo. I mean, obviously.
He looked all right in that. And when he came off, it was about 20 minutes or so that he played.
Yeah.
Nearly scored in his first touch. or one of his first touches, which would have been crazy. But yeah, I mean, does he even maybe make a start here?
Can you give me 45? Can you give me 45 to start? Can you get me into the second half? That would be my big question going up against a Columbus team that is, they're going to come at you from a bunch of different angles. I think they're going to test Toronto defensively. I want to see how Toronto would respond in a situation like this, where it's just going to be like, okay, Josh, go. We'll run verts, and we'll have Chad Kelly throw you verts and just unlimited motion and go, and then 12 guys on the field, and we'll just go ahead and play, and we'll get it all figured out later. I'm intrigued to see how long it takes the relationships to happen in Toronto.
Yeah.
With Josh Sargent is integrated, I guess, comfortably, properly, whatever words you want to use. That for me is the biggest thing in all of this with Georgi Mihailovic. I'm looking forward to it. Don't know how long it's going to take.
And that's Shalloway as well, contract extension.
Yes, new contract extension. Yes, nice. Yeah. You got Philly and Chicago. In Philly, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Chicago on the road. That one for me, I have the question thought bubbles are popping up over my head. This more than anything, because like I said, with Philly, you're looking for offense, and they are offensively challenged right now. And Chicago, that it's there, but can they replicate what they do at home on the road in Chester?
Can they hold on to a lead?
Yes. And so those are the big things with me there. Nashville and Orlando, purple team heads to Geodis. Nashville will have played they will have played tonight, and then they're going to have to turn around, go back home to take on the purple team, who gets to watch. And, what does the lineup look like for Nashville? Or you just kind of go pedal down trying to get to the international break? Or what do you do with Nashville in this case? I'm intrigued there. DC and Atlanta. DC, obviously, when you bring in Sean Johnson, that is a vast improvement in net. You bring in Ty Barabo. Barabo started out hot against Philly. Atlanta's starting to score. I like this matchup for Atlanta because there's still issues for DC, and I think if Atlanta continues what Tata Martino wants them to do, I like Atlanta in this one.
And that's another one too, right? Like, you start more closely than me, but like, was that performance for them the template, right, this past weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that a one-off, right? I considering Tata and the quality that's on that team, I'm more thinking, that's the start of something there.
Yep. You got Charlotte and Red Bulls, and Red Bulls head to the bank and head to Charlotte. Charlotte, I don't know what Charlotte I'm going to get. I really don't. Offensively, yeah, okay. Wilf Zaha, you're starting to integrate and everything. What I want to see what kind of trouble the Baby Bulls put Wilf Zaha into, because and that back line with the Baby Bulls chasing after that back line, okay, hey, Tim Ream, you've lived two lives with more than Julian Hall, I like this one just because of the Roscoe Jenkins Baby Bulls approach that Michael Bradley has going up against all this experience that's in Charlotte. How you handle these young kids. I think that Charlotte, for me, that's going to be their biggest thing, is that when you look at all these young kids, they're not intimidated. They don't care. They're going to come in there and they're going to just stare right at you. I don't care if it's like this and they're looking up at you. They don't care what's going on here. I think I like this one too.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one for sure. And again, as you said, right, it's kind of what Charlotte are we getting? And honestly, too, again, we said it last week with Red Bull, when you have youth, it's all up and down. It's not a straight line. So, what version of Red Bull New York will we get?
Yes. Copa Tejas, Dallas, Houston, Sporting.
We'll have goals. We will have goals.
Yes. Take the over.
That's our Musa. It might be late goals. It might be the 105th minute.
123rd minute.
There will be goals.
Yep. So Mati Bogish, Guilherme, Petar Musa.
Yeah. Musa's he's on a heater right now.
Yes. And so keep the man at the table and keep giving him the dice. That's 8:40 kick on Apple. Kansas City, Colorado, all caps sent in this hosting New England. Austin gets LAFC. Vancouver and San Jose. That one's intriguing. And then you get to Sunday, and NYC and Messi and friends right there at 1 o'clock in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Are there going to be goals? Is it going to be like staring at the pinball machine? Is it literally going to be, okay, my goals against average is going to take a hit? I know it. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, I think there should be goals. I mean, it's smaller pitch and the quality that's out there. And I will be like, your question about what was it, Nashville, right? Is a similar question I had with Miami. Like, so what is their team going to look like going out there? But again, we saw that on the weekend. Like, you sometimes forget, maybe you sit a Messi, but you still have Suarez, right? Yeah. And he looked pretty dangerous. He wasn't able to obviously find the back of the net against Charlotte, but they've got firepower. So I think this is this could have some fireworks in the Bronx on Sunday afternoon.
I mean, the 106/68 with all of that youth, all of that speed, all of those goals, all of that imagination. I don't know who's calling it for Apple, but literally it's going to have to be head on a swivel and just understand that it's going to be like doubles tennis, man. I mean, it's going to be bang, bang, bang at the net, and then everybody standing at the tee, and I'm really gassed up for that one. What else is on your mind coming into this weekend?
Yeah, and then you have the late slate. San Diego RSL is intriguing to me, especially considering the start that RSL has had. Luna just getting back onto the pitch, that was good to see for them. But another team that has gone via the youth movement, right? And they've gotten results, man. Pablo's got them humming right now. So, you head to Snapdragon and again, we'll see what kind of San Diego team steps out there, but I think that's a fun one as well.
San Diego FC, exactly. All right, so you're on the desk tonight.
I am.
So when do you start?
7 o'clock.
Oh man. So do you get a nap in on nights like this?
Impossible. I'm on now till 2, and then there's a certain international soccer match that I'm going to be watching at about 1:45.
I've heard of this one, yes.
Hoping a certain team from Northern England gets the result that I hope they do.
Yes.
And then it's
that penalty call late. Oh man. He's still sore.
Then it's it's school pickup and bringing to Irish step dancing and working with math homework and all that kind of fun stuff. So and there's no such thing as that.
So can you are you a master of the dance, sir? Or are you a master of the river dance? Can you? Are you a lord of the dance like Michael Flatley?
I am not. I'm more the behind the scenes general manager of such a thing.
You're the Brian Cashman of river dance, is what you're saying.
Sure.
Fantastic. So yes, you are
grateful.
Absolutely. And we are grateful for you, sir. It's always great to see you. Thanks for dropping by here in the midweek. We'll break it all down. We'll have all the fun. We'll do all the things. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, same, buddy.
All right, there goes Dylan Butler, and he is going to take it easy. He's got Newcastle coming up. Yeah, he's got Newcastle, and then he's got school pickup, and then he's got Lord of the Dance, and then he's got the desk. So it's going to be busy and it's from now until what? So let's see. So 10:30, 1 o'clock, maybe time for a meal here and there. So if it's 30 minutes per meal, so if he gets lunch at noon, that gets him ready at 1. It gets him ready for the Newcastle match. So 10:30 until, let's see, matches are at 1 o'clock. So 11 to 1 is 14 and a half, an hour for lunch, 13 and a half. General managing 13 and a half. Okay. 13 and a half hours, all the fun. Okay. So Kacey D is in following Dylan. We're going to bring her in because Kacey D's on the hop. So where are you right now?
I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida right now.
Okay,
know.
so all right. So
Open Cup.
explain this. So explain the flying thing. It's like, so were you catching up on other things and on all this kind of stuff? Yes, proper hydration. We need to be
Yes,
properly
have
hydrated.
to. My voice, gotta save the voice.
Mhm.
So now I had pretty much 4 straight weeks of Major League Soccer, and this week's the US Open Cup starts,
Mm.
and I have always called Open Cup games. So I actually called a game last night. I have 2 tonight. I have 1 tomorrow night, and then I go to St. Louis for MLS. So big week this week for sure.
So who'd you have an Open Cup?
I had Colorado Springs Switchbacks versus Azteca FC.
Okay, so yes, the League of Clubs, and we sat there and I made the golfing joke. Okay, so 3 iron, 4 iron, 5 iron, Azteca League of Clubs, and switchbacks. They didn't have much of an issue last night, and so they took care of business. They moved on to the next round. Who you have coming up?
I have Charleston tonight, and I have Orange County versus Laguna. Badgers. Yep. So 2 back-to-back games should be fun.
And for everybody looking at that one, and we went through the matchups. We went through them all in hour number 1 as we were staring at Open Cup, and we were trying to figure out as much as we possibly could about Florida Badgers out of the UPSL, and the fact that they are in the same division as the Florida Soccer Soldiers, and it's the Soccer Soldiers, man. And so we were trying to find out as much as we could about the UPSL with that one. And so yeah, when you have the Badgers staring at you, it's the Badgers and the Battery going at it in Open Cup. You know, you had looking forward to that one. So what has study hall been like getting ready for the Florida Badgers of UPSL?
It's extremely hard because we don't get a lot of information in the first rounds. So in some way, it's never made my job easier than call a game that's in front of you because we don't get a lot of information. So, and that's not just with them, just in general in the first round, you have these new teams in with better opportunities to play against top teams. And so we just try to do the best we can with what we have and see what's in front of us, make it exciting. And normally the Open Cup does that for us. So that helps.
Yes, no doubt about it. And so obviously big favorite tonight, Charleston. They're a -1,000. The Florida Badgers are +1,500. And late night, Orange County and Laguna. Once again, Orange County -1111. Laguna, they're +1,700. I'm warning people about Sacramento and El Farolito. Do not sleep on our friends from El Farolito. Never do that.
I completely agree. That's a great choice by you for people to watch because they have made some runs in the past. They had a good year last year, and there it is. Look at that. I love it. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and sometimes people can get caught sleeping. So that's why you tune in. That's why you watch.
Yes. Okay. So how long do we have you?
Till 10:50. You got some more time.
15 minutes. I was just trying to make sure. Okay. So now let's get into the match that you were in and all of the chaos that ensued there. And I have all of the goals, but because we only have you for 15 minutes, I don't want to go through all of them because some of them are like PKs and things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It got dramatic.
PK. Oh, yeah. Definitely. So, all right. So I have all 5 goals. What goals do you want to talk about?
Ooh, that's a really good question. The first one is just the penalty kick. So unless you want to talk VAR, we don't have to do that one, but we can.
Okay, well, just go ahead and talk VAR. We won't play the clip, but go ahead and talk VAR.
Of course. So this was a really confusing play for a lot of people because a lot of things go on inside the penalty area. Holding, grabbing, pushing, elbowing. Like there's just so much stuff that people have gotten away with in previous years. The vision is FIFA lost the game. Can you hear me? Sorry, it said we disconnected.
You did not. You're good.
Oh, okay, great. FIFA laws of the game now, if a defender is only looking at the attacking player and has no attempt to look at the corner flag where the ball's coming from, and they're only paying attention to the player, that is now going to be considered a penalty kick that can be called. So the referee got it completely right. I had to relook at the replay a couple times, but I knew the pro referee organization told us before this season that that was one of the changes and that we had to be on the lookout for. And Samaseku had his arms wrapped. It was not about that. It was more that he had no intention to look even at the service coming in.
Oh boy, you can't do that. You can't just wrap around folks. As much as you might love them and respect them, you can't do that. You can't wrap around folks like that. So that was the first one. And then you end up with, once again, that was at 45 plus 4. Then the continuing saga of Guilherme made it 1-1. And so what is it about Guilherme that has caught lightning in a bottle for Houston so far?
I think he's someone that people tend to forget about. Like, he starts really strong. He does a lot of creative flair in the first half and he gets on the ball, but then he just is a bit sneaky and he finds areas in the box where people lose their marks. And then you add the efficiency on top of it. He doesn't need a lot of opportunities to score goals. He's very technically sound. And so when he has opportunities, he gives them a very good chance to become a goal.
No doubt about it. And so it was at Guilherme at 1-1. And then Houston gets the lead in the 77th minute. This one we will play. The third goal. Andrade at the end of it all makes it 2-1, courtesy of Apple TV, Major League Soccer, and you'll recognize one of the voices.
In Resch, a towering presence at 6'6". Stepping forward and whipped in, full stretch, full-blooded, and full takeoff. Houston going from strength to strength, and the Brazilians make it 2-1 for the Dynamo.
They're back closer to their goal. This is your left center back stepping up in Felipe Andrade. Because they're absorbed further back, he's able to get that next ball. The prep touch that he has, the second one to get out of his feet. He should never have that much time, but give credit to the attacking group of being able to establish that type of possession.
And there we go. So it's now 2-1. And the beauty of telephones. Here we go. She's stuck.
I'm back.
Stuck in a hotel room. So we just played the Andrade goal that made it 2-1. And you and Christian had that one pretty cold. So the 2-1 lead now for Houston with Andrade scoring in the 77th.
Yeah, this one was interesting because the Houston Dynamo had so much in the game and they just kept collapsing the line of the Portland Timbers and going further and further back. Usually your outside back, outside center back, however you want to call it, doesn't end up 20 yards out from goal. But because of all the possession they did, and he had a great finish.
There you go. 2-1, Andrade with the finish. And then Velda scores. So much for a 2-1 lead, he said. So a 2-1 lead turns into 2-2. 80th minute, Velda ends up with the goal there. So we're going to play goal number 4 and have Velda come in and tie it at 2. If I would, I would actually have to play the goal for it to happen. So it's amazing what happens when you don't play the audio that you're supposed to play. There we go. Tied at 2. Here's Velda in the 80th.
The throw down from G-Man 40. The Timbers look for a way back. Hoisted in, flicked forward. It's set up on the volley. Velda! Venomous and precise. Portland answer right back. 2-2.
The penalty box. Andre Linger's at the top of your 18. He's caught watching. It falls down to Velda. And what a strike. He's able to generate power because it's quick and it hits around. The first touch gets out of his body. That's why he's able to snap this. Look at the precision.
And so it's 2-2 at that point. Marcanic with a red, but 90 plus 4. And I know that we're battling hotel rooms and Wi-Fi and all the things. And so Velda takes advantage of it. 2-2 in the 80th minute. Nick Marcanic with a red at 90 plus 4. We'll get into that discussion. And then you end up with Mati Bogusz at 90 plus 15. 90 plus 15, I tell you. We got to get into the idea here of 90 plus 4. Let me see if we can hear Kacey. So 90 plus 4.
I'm sorry. This is a
You're in a
situation.
hotel. She's in a hotel, and it's all over the place. No, it's these cement tombs known as hotels on the road. We completely understand. And so sometimes live TV is this way. But you end up with Marcanic with a red at 90 plus 4. Then at 90 plus 15. 90 plus 15, I tell you. You end up with goal number 5. Craziness. Madi Bogusz, Christian Miles, Kacey D on Apple TV.
McGlynn. Time of the essence. Hit and hope. It's an adroit ball. Bogusz. He's in. He can win it. Bogusz. Oh, no. Bogusz has won it. Incredible.
And his first touch actually lets him down. Watch the first touch here. He doesn't take it towards goal. It bounces strangely. He still takes on. He cuts against the grain. The reason that works is because the defending player is recovering so aggressively. He misses the header right here. Overrunning it was Finn Sermon. He sets up the back leg. Fins it outside the post. Nothing Pantemis can do. What a winner from Mateusz Bogusz.
And it was a winner from Mateusz Bogusz, and Kacey just went outside. She's tired of a cement.
I am trying to get reception.
She's
I'm
tired
so sorry.
of a cement tomb known as a hotel room. We played the Velda game tire in the 80th, and then Marcanic had a red in the 80 at 90 plus 4. So you end up with 90 plus 4 with Marcanic getting the red, and Kacey's buffering. So Kacey D is buffering here. She's frozen, people. She is frozen. She is more frozen than frozen. She's like Elsa. She's absolutely frozen. She's in Fort Lauderdale calling Open Cup in a hotel room. Couldn't quite handle the cement tomb where she was. She steps. This is how dedicated Kacey is. She steps outside the hotel room. She's out in the parking lot of whatever multi-day joint she's in Fort Lauderdale. And so trying to get reception anywhere. My guess is probably what happened was that her phone was also on when she's when she is trying to figure out, okay, here's what I think happened. So here we go. Okay, so she's got 7 minutes. Tell you what. Come back in. I'm going to tell her. I'm texting her right now. Come back in one more time. Let's see, and we'll figure out, and we'll put a bow on it. All right. So I'm telling you what my text is with Kacey, and we'll go from here. We'll put a bow on it. All right. So, So she'll come back in one more time because she's got a meeting in 7 minutes anyway. So we'll figure out what the rest of her week is like, where she's not in just a cement tomb in Fort Lauderdale. But what I think happened was her phone and her computer probably got stuck on the Wi-Fi in the hotel. And then when you step out of the range of the Wi-Fi in the hotel, when your phone goes nuts. That's what I think happened anyway. I think that's what happened. So now she's back in the hotel on the cell phone and coming back one more time. Okay.
I'm trying my best.
It's all good. I was explaining what I think happened is that when you stepped outside with your phone, I thought that your phone and your computer were probably on the hotel wireless. And then when you stepped outside, the phone freaked out because it was outside the hotel wireless range. Anyway,
I have no idea. I tried laptop. I tried phone. So
I know
my apologies.
No worries. Like I said, you're in cement tomb in Fort Lauderdale. I get it. We played the Velda goal in the 80th. Then we had the red from Marcanic in the wow. So we end up with the red from Marcanic in the 90 plus 4, Madi Bogusz, and you and Christian were all over the Bogusz goal. The first touch, and I had to go back and watch it. That first touch from Bogusz at 90 plus 15, it was a stumble for him to get through and try to figure out how to get that last touch in. And so once again, Kacey's frozen. we'll effort to have her back because she gets to talk about St. Louis then too. Oh man, that's hilarious. This is crazy. Problem repeatedly occurred. Yeah, it's a cement tombs. Go to your meeting. We'll catch up. That's great. All right. So anyway, we got through the highlights. We got through the highlights of the Houston match, and that was where Kacey was. She's heading back to St. Louis this week. All right, so we'll figure it out. All right, so this is like I said, I'm texting her at the same time too. Anyway, okay, so cement tombs. She's in a cement tomb in Fort Lauderdale. We got through the Houston match. We'll keep the Houston goals up. We'll get her thoughts on Madi Bogusz at 90 plus 15. And so Houston gets the win 3-2. She's got a meeting in 4 minutes anyway. So we're going to catch up with KCD later in the week. Probably going to try and catch up with Mike Gramajo on Friday to look at everything in Orlando. We're going to find out about grass tomorrow from Michigan State University. We're also efforting Dave Johnson for Oppo research on Thursday or Friday as well. So we'll find out what Dave's day is like. We'll figure out Mike Gramajo. We'll figure out Kacey, and we'll figure out grass. So that's the rest of the week. So tomorrow, what we know is that that Nino and Nico is the power hour at 10 o'clock. We will be visited by Michigan State in the 9 o'clock hour. Still trying to figure out where guests can fit and all this kind of stuff. So KCD's calling Open Cup. So if you hear a familiar voice tonight with Badgers and Battery, it's KCD. So she's on that one. And then we'll catch up with her about all the Open Cup. We'll catch up with her about St. Louis, all the things, and it's all good. So anyway, fighting and struggling through cement tombs, it's KCD. Sleeveless Ferret GY. I don't know you, and you're a bot. Account suspended or deactivated? Wow, that wasn't long. Good job. Way to go, Twitch. All right. So KCD got to join us for a little bit anyway from a hotel room in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We need to remind them not to have rooms that are tombs. Anyway, okay, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and the other news that we might have missed this morning. So let's find out what we might have missed with all of the signings, all the things, and all over the place. So, yes, Dylan's going to be watching Barcelona-Newcastle at 1:45. That's going to be out there. Also, so we mentioned AFCON. We went well into AFCON. And once again, our partnership with the Georgia Student Finance Commission. Very, very cool stuff. Statewide impact with gafutures.org. And if you are, and this once again ties to Red Clay, which is coming up at noon. We're catching up with Mike Pettit, boys and girls coach at Callaway. We're going to go over the chaos that happened last night with Lake Oconee Academy and GMC Prep, go through the polls, all the things. And so with our relationship with GA Futures, that's the platform that gets students to help plan and pay for college, prepping for careers after high school. GAFutures.org is where you go. You can create an account, explore the possibilities at GA Futures. So players, and this is from our release, partnership centers on one shared belief: players competing on fields across Georgia deserve opportunities beyond the final whistle. And this is where the Georgia Call-Up comes into play. GAFutures.org is going to be the presenting sponsor of the Georgia Call-Up. It'll be a recurring feature highlighting high school players across the state deserving recognition and exposure. Georgia Call-Up designed to spotlight standout student athletes, connect them with the next level, reinforcing importance of academic prep alongside athletic success. So, supporting sponsor, they are now a supporting sponsor of our high school broadcast season. Partnership is going to include sponsorship of select SDH pregame shows, where we're going to recap the week's action, preview upcoming matches, highlight players and stories from around the state. Then, more details about the resources. You go to gafutures.org, and that's going to be a part of our high school match broadcast, reinforcing the resources available to student athletes and their families as they plan for the future. And so also, there's going to be a new youth soccer-focused program on the SDH network. It's going to focus on the broader ecosystem around youth sports, including coaching and development, supporting young athletes at home, nutrition and wellness, mentoring and leadership, and the pathway from youth soccer to high school and beyond. Special editions in the spring before expanding to a weekly show later in the year. For the network, the partnership reflects a core part of our mission behind the growing high school coverage. I mean, we're going to be between 50 and 60 matches by the time the season's over. Soccer is a powerful platform for community connection, also can be a gateway to educational opportunity. By working with the Georgia Student Finance Commission, we're going to help ensure that players and families following high school soccer across the state have access to the tools to help turn athletic ambition into academic and career success. Families can learn more, once again, by going to gafutures.org. So gafutures.org, gafutures.org is where you go. And if you have, your favorite teams, favorite student athletes that you think are not getting the coverage or getting the exposure that they deserve for what they're doing on and off the field, that's where the Georgia Call-Up comes into play. And also helping them at the next level, it's gafutures.org. So gafutures.org, presenting sponsor, across a lot of fronts here when it comes to SDH. And so we're glad to have the Georgia Student Finance Commission as a part of our future as we pair up with gafutures.org. Very, very cool stuff there with our friends at the Georgia Student Finance Commission. So that came out yesterday, and we're grateful that we can reinforce that today. Red Clay coming up at noon. By the way, the CAF release in all of its massive bullet-pointed glory, that came out as well. And so they used application 84 of the regulations of CAF. The Senegal national team declared to have forfeited the final match. On the appeal regarding application of Articles 82 and 84 of the regulations of AFCON, declared admissible in form, appeal is upheld. Disciplinary board decision set aside. Appeal board finds conduct of Senegal falls within the scope of Articles 82 and 84. Protest lodge is upheld. Declared that the Senegalese Federation, through the conduct of its team, infringed Article 82 of the regulations of AFCON. Application of Article 84. Senegalese team declared to have forfeited. 3-0, all motions or prayers for relief are dismissed. Appeal lodged in respect of Mr. Ismail Saibari, partially upheld. Confirms finding that Saibari committed misconduct with the towel incidents. Sanction imposed, amended to a suspension of 2 official CAF matches, 1 suspended. Fine of $100,000 imposed, set aside. Appeal lodged in respect to the Ball Boys incident is partially upheld. CAF Appeal Board confirms the finding that Morocco is responsible for the conduct of the Ball Boys during the aforementioned match. Fine imposed on Morocco in respect to the Ball Boys incident reduced to $50,000. Appeal lodged in respect to the interference around VAR area is dismissed. Fine of $100,000 imposed on Morocco in respect to the interference around VAR review area is confirmed. Appeal lodged in respect to the laser incident partially upheld. Fine reduced to $10,000. All motions or prayers for relief are dismissed. So there you go. That is that's the rundown of everything that's coming out of CAF. So yes, you had a result that was reversed, plus you had some fines and rescissions, and it went all over the place. So that was so that was where that went down. So another couple of elements to get into before we get into gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and what to watch before we get out of here. Danny Cruz leaving Lou City. So Danny Cruz leaves Lou City, back-to-back championship coach of the year. He's expected to be the #1 assistant for Cameron Knowles in Minnesota. Remember that Danny Cruz interviewed for the Minnesota United gig, didn't get it. But now Cameron Knowles is in charge after Eric Ramsey left to go to West Brom, before Eric Ramsey was released from West Brom. And so now Cameron Knowles is in charge. Danny Cruz comes over, and he is now an assistant under Cam Knowles, at least in thought. It has not been official, I don't think. Let me check really quickly here, and I can tell you if it's been officially official. And let me see here. So where are my Minnesota United? Where are my Minnesota United? Are they in? Because I have like 19 different emails, and I'm trying to figure out which one has my Minnesota United releases and if Danny Cruz is a part of any of those releases. So not wasting any time, Simon Bird is the interim. Paulo Del Piccolo has been moved to a heavy assistantship with Lou City. So today you had a team availability. It was mentioned yesterday. Nothing of note from Minnesota yet. Team training media availability, that was announced, but nothing out of Minnesota announcing Danny Cruz yet. U17s opened CONCACAF's qualifying, winning 19-0 over Bermuda in Costa Rica. Deus Stanislas had 4. Taylor Morrell, Mac Witham each had Hatties. 7 in a 12-minute stretch early in the second half. NWSL is announcing that they're going to host Washington at Citi Field on July 15th. First ever NWSL match played in New York City. And so they're looking for a new attendance mark for a sporting event in town. Angel City lost Ina Sugita with a torn ACL, and she's gone for the season. Sporting Kansas City adds Brazilian center back Diego Borges on a long-term deal as a U22. Daniel Shallowy, as we mentioned with Dylan, locked through 2027 with an option beyond that. A couple of other things around. Sergio Romero retires at the age of 39. Finalissima canceled. They're now going to play Guatemala, meaning Argentina, at La Bombonera on March 31st. Newell's loses 5-0 to Lanús. El Gráfico noted Newell's had gone 2,648 matches without conceding 5 goals before the 55th minute, buried at the bottom of the Apertura and the annual standings. So that was what had gone down in the LPF. Now, gossip, rumor, and innuendo. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it before we get out of here. Once again, noon is we're going to come back with Red Clay, and we will come back with Red Clay. We'll have highlights from last night. We'll look at your polls. Mike Pettit from Callaway joining us at 1:45, and he'll be closing out the show we'll get to find out what it's like involving coaching both teams and what the successes are so far, and what it's looking like for them at Callaway on the boys and girls sides of things. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Bunch of clubs want João Gomes. No surprise. Liverpool, Manchester United interested. Both clubs have reportedly monitored him in recent weeks, looking for midfield reinforcements in the summer. Chelsea and Manchester City also interested. Atletico de Madrid tabs on Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. From Arsenal, reportedly watching both, looking for potential moves. Also interest from other clubs in Europe and in Saudi Arabia, according to Team Talk. Gunners would be open to parting if their valuations were met. Manchester United set to do everything they can to keep a hold of Bruno Fernandes. That's from the 4-letter paper. Club's hierarchy believed to be adamant in keeping him. A £57 million release clause allows clubs from outside the Premier League to sign him, set to make a decision on his future at the end of the year. Nicolas Shearer also reports Juve evaluating the possibility of landing the 24-year-old striker Joshua Zirkzee, who remains linked with an exit from the club in the summer. Manchester City could offload Savinho in the summer, according to Football Insider. 21-year-old among several players lined up for a potential move away from the club as they plan a squad overhaul, having struggled to start regularly since Antoine Semenyo arrived from Bournemouth in January. Spurs maintain an interest in the Brazilian, but whether they make an approach, it's going to hinge on whether or not they're still in the Premier League. AC Milan interested in Azad Alkmaar, Ireland international forward Troy Parrott, according to The Independent. One of the names being considered by the Rossoneri amid their search for a striker. Eredivisie club would be reportedly open to parting ways if they get an offer worth the region of £25 million. He had the hat trick in the World Cup qualifier against Hungary, 17 direct goal contributions in 22 matches this year. Juve pushing to sign Bernardo Silva. Spalletti wants him, Gazzetta dello Sport. PSG winger Ousmane Dembele hasn't been in talks with Manchester City despite reports, according to Fabrizio Romano. Declan Rice close to reaching an agreement over a new deal, securing his future at the Emirates until 2030 or 2031. John Stones open to a return from Everton. AC Milan willing to listen to offers for Rafa Leao in the summer. Gazzetta dello Sport. Arsenal set to explore a loan move for Miles Lewis Skelly next offseason. Villa want to keep hold of Douglas Luiz, currently on loan from Juve. Nicola Shira. Brighton keen to secure a move for Cologne winger Said El-Mallah. That's from Bild. Juve among several clubs tracking Sassuolo midfielder Ismail Kone, who's on loan from Marseille. Obligation for his stay to become permanent included. That's from Tuttosport. Celtic leading the race to sign Kasper Hoeg from Bodo Glimt. Competition from Leeds. Juve striker Luis Openda, expected to be on the move in the next transfer window, could return to his former club Lens. It's from Calcio Mercato. Villa have no plans to part ways with Yuri Tielemans in the summer, and that is courtesy of Football Insider. Also, quickly on the board, Kasper Schmeichel thinks his career might be over with a shoulder surgery that's going to need 2 procedures. He said that in an interview on Paramount. And so we'll keep an eye on the future of Kasper Schmeichel. He thinks he might have played his last match. So we'll keep an eye on Kasper Schmeichel and his future. Now, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it comes from our friends at Fanati's, fntz.co/soccer down here. That link is important because it helps them, it helps us, and it helps you. Adding more matches to everything you're already watching, you get BN, which means you get AFCON. You get all the BNs, which means you get the French League, the Polish League, you get the Turkish League, Copa Libertadores, Sudamericana. It's all there. You get TAC, which means you get matches from Argentina. You get Tigo Sports. You get CATV, which means you end up with some Central America activity. Paraguay, Uruguay, Divisions A and B. Peru with Liga 1 and Liga 1 Max Pro. So you're getting most of the action going on in South American soccer. More leagues from across South America all in one place, one subscription, one home. Fanati's, fntz.co/soccer down here. And once again, Champions League, CONCACAF, Open Cup. CBS Sports Network, Bayern Munich and Atalanta at 4. FC Motown and Hartford at 7. CONCACAF, the Triple C, the triple header, Miami and Nashville, Club America Philly, Seattle, Vancouver. Toluca and San Diego FC is on at 11 on FS2. The Saudi King Cup is on at 3 if you're interested. Fox Deportes has the Saudi King Cup and the Honduran League at 7:15 with Olimpia and Olancho. 2 to NA, Barcelona, Newcastle, Liverpool, Galatasaray. Then the 3 CONCACAF matches, Miami, Nashville, Club America, Philly, Toluca, San Diego. Unimas is simulcasting 4 of the 5. They're laying out of the Toluca match. So they've got Barcelona, Liverpool, Miami, Club America. Golazo has a BOHFS St. Louis and Omaha at 8. Fox ONE has all 4 matches from CONCACAF, the Honduran League, and the Saudi King Cup. Paramount Plus, Championship, Southampton Norwich at 3:45. They also have Colchester United playing a bunch of carpetbaggers at 4 o'clock. Champions League, they've got 3. Barcelona, Newcastle, Bayern Munich, Atalanta, Liverpool, Galatasaray. They have Europa League's 1 match today coming up at the bottom of the hour, Braga and Ferencvaros. They also have Motown, Hartford, BOHFS St. Louis, and Union Omaha at 8. Peacock, Chivas and León at 10. YouTube on U.S. Soccer has all of the matches from tonight for Open Cup. All 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 of the 14. Women's side, ESPN Deportes Copa de la Reina. Barcelona, Badalona's at 4. English Super League is at 3 o'clock. They have 2 matches there. Peacock, 2 matches from the USL Super League at 7:30 and 8:30. Tampa Bay, Brooklyn, Dallas, and Lexington. So, busy day. Bunch of different fronts. We went into the laws of the game from IFAB. We find out about CAF. We've got juice boxes. And we forgot about Vistula and One Knox at 7:30. Chattanooga, Kalanji, Asheville City, Greenville, Charleston, Florida, FC Naples, Red Force, Lou City, Southern Indiana, FC Motown, Hartford, Vistula, One Knox, and it's at Vistula, by the way. BOHFS St. Louis, Union Omaha, Little Rock and Tulsa, San Antonio and New Stars, New Mexico and Cruisers, Sacramento, El Farolito, AV Alta, Valley 559, Orange County Laguna United, Ventura County Fusion, and Spokane Velocity. KCD on the call for Orange County late, and the Badgers and the Battery early. So fun for her on a night that's going to be crazy. We even have 3 matches tomorrow in Open Cup as well that include Tennessee Tempo hosting Chattanooga Red Bulls. We'll get into that tomorrow. We'll talk about everything, and if there's any cup sets, we'll let you know what's going on. Once again, top of the hour, it's the Red Clay Soccer Report. We find out what's going on around the state. We'll relive what happened in the craziness last night with LOA and GMC Prep in Single A. We'll catch up with Mike Pettit, boys and girls coach at Callaway, at 12:45, and we'll break it all down for you. So we got matches, we got polls, we got highlights, we got coaches. Red Clay Soccer Report, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. That's coming up at noon here on the network. Because of that, we're out. Thanks to KCD and her cement tomb that she's in Fort Lauderdale. Thanks to Dylan Butler and his house as he navigates a 14-hour day starting now with everything going on in his life, from Lord of the Dance to being Lord of the Open Cup and Lord of CONCACAF as well. And thanks to all of you for going through everything that we went through, all the cups on a Wall Pass Wednesday. It wouldn't be Wall Pass Wednesday without you. Thanks to Derek. Thanks to Coco. Thanks to Abby. And let's see. Thanks to David. Good morning, as always. Once again, there's Derek and there's Abby and there's David and Ricky and Abby and David and Lokeville. And that'll do. So that's all of us hanging out with all of you. Back at it again at noon. Red Clay Soccer Report. We'll go through everything in high school here in the state of Georgia. Since it is the end of the show, mucha plati, all play it safe. That means we get to do this. Back at it again. 53 minutes. We'll talk high school. See you then.